Welcome to Customization Monday, perhaps even Transmog Monday. What we are looking today is what we have gotten within the list of things for 9.1.5 that have to do with customizing your character and giving you more options, for example, for Transmog, because quite a few things have been coming out at the same time. Generally speaking, I'm not too big on transmog related stuff, but in this case we have actually quite a few things happening worth noting to see just exactly how you could diversify, so to speak, your character in 9.1.5. The first thing is the fresh one, is of a few hours ago, which is the discovery in the code files about a new type of gear that has been added in the patch 9.1 data named as starting gear. And it is pretty much just a long list of recolored sets, being of two versions, one with trousers and one with a robe. Interestingly enough, for all of the armor types except for plate, so plate is the only one that lacks that option. They are more or less reminding of vanilla style type of gear. They are, very plain, very simple. They do not have the vanilla style low resolution and pretty pixelated type of textures. They are a little bit more updated, God willing. We're not too sure exactly how they will make it into the game, but they have been put out and there might be a new type of gear that you can use for your character, maybe even just to take a few of them. Maybe if you wanted a blue set or a red set, you are lacking one of the transmog pieces to fill the gaps, and these types of gear and these types of sets could help you with that. The other addition to the game is something that came before all of the list of news for 9.1.5. There was a preview which was about being able to solo island expeditions. Now, if you haven't played BFA, good for you and good for your health. You did not have to do island expeditions, but now in 9.1.5 they will be soloable, and what Blizzard has done over the months of BFA was adding more and more rewards to the island expeditions, one of which has been the sets, transmog sets, available from the activity, not gear. It wasn't any type of powerful gear, it was straight up transmog sets, cosmetic sets. Most of these, pretty much with just the exception of 5 of them or so, were recolors of older expansions, older tiers, tier 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, Cataclysm and around that level. What is particularly important is, of course, that things like the tier 12 recolor for the Warlock, or the tier 12 recolor for the Mage, or LFR recoloring for certain sets are special, of course, because these Island Expeditions transmog sets do not have class restrictions. So you will be able to go and pick some of these recolors even though they were not made originally for your spec, for your class. Like, of course, the Murgle set, the tier 11 recolor for the Hunter that can be used by Shamans, or the reverse. Or maybe something mixed, something like the Voodoo Stalker set for male, which was the Amani male recolor set used by both Hunters and Shamans. You have the Warrior sets and the Paladin sets and the DK sets that can be interchangeable, like the Paladin tier 12. This is one of the looked ones after, especially by DKs and Warriors. You can now take a recolored Paladin set and use it as a DK, for example. Or perhaps do the opposite. Perhaps you want to be a red Paladin, taking the Twilight Dragon set, the tier 13 for Warriors recolored, and use it on your Paladin. So all of these, there is like 28, I think 30 sets available from Island Expeditions. There are amongst these some new ones as well that don't have any type of correlation with other tier sets or other sets, like the Dragon Rider is going to be the new male armor that you can pick up from Island Expeditions. There is the Mist Stalker, which is the new one for leather. The Bloodwake, the big horned one, is going to be the new one for plate. And then there is 2 new ones for cloth, the Duskhaven, the dress and the no dress version. So that is also quite a lot of available sets. Of course, they have to come from Island Expeditions, which means most of these are going to be random and not targetable, because they come from salvages, they come from caches, from crates. So you have to do Island Expeditions, earn the doubloons once you do the Island Expeditions, and then you can buy the crates and hope to get the right one. Usually there is something like 3 to 4, in some cases 5 different transmog sets available from each different crate salvage, so it could take you, at the very worst, a few attempts before you can get the one you want, the one you're aiming for. But, at the very least, in 9.1.5, it will be much faster to gain these sets compared to back in BFA. where you also needed the help of other people, and we all know we're not playing an MMO to play with other people, so at least you will be able to do them solo. The last addition, which of course is going to be the one that is going to open up the most possibilities, is the announcement from Blizzard, which recited, once you have reached a high enough renown threshold, you will thereafter be able to freely switch among any of the 4 Covenant without cooldown or restriction. Yes, we knew this already. The cool part is, as well as use cosmetic rewards that you have earned from one Covenant, even if you are currently a member of a different one. And in case you're also wondering, both the Covenant switching and the use of cosmetic rewards will also apply to alts once the renown threshold is reached on a single character. So as long as you have one main who kept up the weekly renown increase, very likely all the way up to renown 80, that is going to be available to all of your alts. So it doesn't matter if you have a shitty alt at 15 renown, this is still going to work for them as well. This is of course very cool and very specific because Covenant armor sets are very themed around the zone. So Maldraxxus is filled with skulls, it's filled with extra limbs, abominations, stitch flesh type of style. Then you have the Night Fae, which is more leaves, petals, branches, and wood style type of sets. And now you can just mix and match them. So it would be pretty cool, for example, to see an abomination looking guy like this one also sporting these wings. That would be a pretty cool sight. So there are going to be plenty of available transmog sets for all different armor sets. We do have, in case you have missed it, but that's pretty hard because it's given to you for free if you played Kortia, you do have also an additional new type of transmog set put into 9.1 in Kortia, which is a more laid-back type of transmog. It's not as grandiose, there aren't that many particle effects and shiny things in the sets, they are more grounded, so to speak. You have the one that's given to you for free in your bags as soon as you hit Renown 60. There is the one that costs 10,000 anima once you reach Renown 77, so more or less in a month, basically. Then there is the one that comes from the Death's Advanced reputation. Once you hit Exalted, this is going to cost 6,000 Stygia, and then there is the last one, which is the one that is offered to you week by week, or day by day if you're lucky, from the dailies. The dailies in Kortia are completely random, you don't get the same as other people. Some of these dailies are going to reward you with a piece of this transmog. So all of these 4 transmog sets will also be available to be shared around with other types of covenants, as well as of course all of the old ones that you could have gotten by this point. You have the campaign transmog set, which is the one you get basically for free as you continue the campaign. You have the one for anima, which unfortunately requires also grateful offerings, which is quite annoying to get, so it could take you a while. And then you have the couple of transmog sets related to your specific building for your covenant. It could be the abomination stitching minigame type of thing for the Necrolord. It could be the Path of Ascension transmogs for the Kyrian, the Ember Court transmogs for the Ventir, or the Queen's Conservatory transmogs for Night Fae. Either way, once you unlock any of these, you will also be able to use them for other classes, for other covenants. Now, it's going to be pretty fun, honestly, to get used to, seeing someone running around, maybe seeing someone joining your group as a little sparkly fairy with a lot of petals and flowers around its armor, and then see him channel Fleshcraft. That's going to be pretty off for the first few days or maybe even weeks of 9.1.5. As I said, the thing I'm most excited about is being able to see the abominations that people will be able to come up with by mixing and matching all the different types of Covenant-specific armor pieces that you will be able to then patchwork together and smash together in 9.1.5. So as I said, as I pointed out, these are quite a lot of changes to come all at once, because there are, I think, 28 different armor sets that you can get from Island Expeditions. There are something like 6 different sets with like 8 different recolors for the starting gear that might be available, and then you have the Covenant ones. Excluding the Covenant you're already part of, so excluding all of the Covenant transmog sets you could have gotten already from, let's say, your Necrolord stuff, you're going to have 4 extra Covenant sets from the release of Shadowlands, plus 4 extra Covenant transmog sets from the release of Kortia, per Covenant. So you have 3 extra Covenants you can basically now respec freely in 9.1.5 and take those Transmog appearances from. That's gonna total out to be 24 different armor sets for your armor type. So for cloth, you will have 24 available sets now. 8 for each of the other Covenants you're not part of. And the grand total is roughly 72 new sets that you will be able to gain appearances of. There are a few extras here and there, like Ventir, for example, has a couple of extra sets, but that is the general number, which is, you know, quite big. It's a quite big influx of stuff to go after. So it can total out to be a massive influx of available gear for you to choose from when going for a transmog set. The last part of the video is not going to be about the transmog, which is already more than enough, is going to be about the character customizations that we'll talk about and that Blizzard talked about. In the update that they talked about when talking about character customization, what is still missing that we haven't yet seen is the new soul shapes and critter shapes available to Nightfey, as well as the new travel mounts, or travel forms rather, available to Druid. What we did see, however, are the new tattoos, the new symbols and markings for Lightforged Draenei. And I will say this again, I think these are cool, much like the other types of tattoos you can get, body tattoos like, for example, the Zandalari ones. However, you would have to basically be naked, chest naked, with your transmog set, since we just talked about transmog sets, for these to even show. So it would have to be a pretty peculiar type of set to be able to show off these new tattoos. As I said, an oldie but a goodie is always the Berserker type of transmog that allows you to go shirtless and make sense. That's always a popular one. You do also have facial customization options between trinkets, earrings, earpieces and ear covers and whatnot for the Lightforged Draenei. And these type of customization options are going to be extended not just to the Draenei allied race, but also to the Nightborn, which will also have access to customization options for their face, mostly. Another thing they added, which took me long to figure out because I was looking at this picture and I was trying to look at the hairstyles and maybe even the eyebrows and figure out why they were even showing this because nothing was changing. I am apparently blind because it's the ear length, of course. Elven ears now becoming twice as long, basically, and now you turn into some sort of eldritch vampire bat looking thing with those ears. And lastly, we have an amazing feat of technology, being able to take hair colors and adding additional shades. Now you have not 1, not 2, but 3 different types of blonde as a color palette, and even 2 different types of redhead color available for you. So these right now, at this very moment, at this very second, on Monday, the 30th of August, are all of the available, let's say, customization options for your character's style and look that will be available in 9.1.5. We know for certain, of course, that the customization options are going to come. The almost 30 sets available from Island Expeditions are going to come, and the transmog sets for the Covenant specific ones that will become available to everyone regardless of their Covenant choice will also become available. And then there is the last one, which is the starting gear addition, which we will have to know whether or not will actually be obtainable, will actually be transmogable, or if it's just something that got into the files of 9.1 as a test and nothing else and won't really make it to live. So that's the only question mark we have so far. As I said, I am particularly excited to see about the transmog availability when it comes to the Covenant ones. Anyways, let me guys know what you think about this. For the moment, however, we can stop Cosmetic Monday here. Thank you guys for watching the video. If you want to support the channel, do what you do when you want to support a channel. See you guys soon, and in the meantime, man, it's crazy. They took a hair color and they changed it from yellow to a little bit more yellow. It's crazy how they managed to do that. Such a feat.